Again, Caitlin's back. Tell Caitlin Clark Kent back in action. Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31 minutes of basketball. The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be.
The Indiana Fever delivered a commanding 102-88 victory over the New York Liberty, with Caitlin Clark making a spectacular return to form. The star guard dominated the court with an exceptional stat line that showcased her elite abilities across all facets of the game. Clark finished with 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 7 successful three-pointers, shooting an impressive 11 for 20 from the field in just 31 minutes of action. The performance marked a triumphant comeback after her brief absence from the lineup.
No Jonquel Jones, but the Indiana Fever handled business. 102-88. We finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22. Caitlin Clark, folks, 3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different.
The most electrifying moment came in the opening half when Clark nailed 3 consecutive shots from beyond the arc in just 38 seconds. These weren't ordinary three-pointers, they were deep bombs launched from logo range that left spectators in awe. This display reminded everyone why Clark is considered a generational talent with otherworldly shooting range. Clark's performance added to her growing list of accomplishments as she now holds 3 games with 35 points and 5 assists in her first 2 professional seasons. For comparison, veteran star Candace Parker achieved this feat twice in her entire career, while no other player has accomplished it more than once.
She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed to seeing. Oh, it feels good, folks. It feels good. It feels good to get the W. It feels great to see Caitlin Clark's shot falling, logo threes, bombing. Caitlin Clark, the most 35 in 5 games in the players' 2 seasons. Candace Parker had 2. Caitlin Clark now has 3. Nobody else with more than 1.
Currently, Clark stands as the only player in the league averaging at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. This triple threat production demonstrates her versatility and importance to the Fever's success. The game featured several memorable individual matchups, including an isolation play where Clark called for a clear-out against veteran defender Brianna Stewart. The resulting step-back three-pointer drew laughter even from Stewart, acknowledging the exceptional shot-making ability on display.
Clark Kent is back in action. You can get the sense that she sat on the bench and she was ready to go. She sat on the bench, she sat on the sidelines, she watched this team play, and she was just counting her days until she made her return. I thought it was going to be against the Connecticut Sun, but this is Caitlin Clark. How could I be so foolish? Caitlin Clark probably said, I want to come back to the most eyeballs possible. You guys are about to see what I'm going to do.
The Fever's offensive explosion resulted in their first triple-digit scoring performance of the season. The team generated 19 fast break points and received 20 points from their bench unit, showing improved depth and pace of play. Every quarter saw the Fever score more than 20 points, demonstrating sustained offensive efficiency throughout the contest. The team's ball movement was particularly effective, with multiple players contributing to the assist column.
I want to come back to the most eyeballs possible. Clear 2 million or more. Yeah, 2 million or more. I want to come back and show you guys what I am made of. She is the only player in the league so far averaging 20 points per game, 5 rebounds per game or more, 5 assists or more per game. Caitlin Clark is back in action. The Caitlin Clark effect is back in action. Folks, as she was scoring 3 threes in 38 seconds, she had an ISO on Stewie, and she said, hey, AB, get over there, AB.
Kelsey Mitchell overcame early shooting struggles to deliver crucial baskets in the fourth quarter, finishing with 22 points and a plus 21 rating. Despite a difficult first 3 quarters, Mitchell's clutch shooting helped seal the victory. Lexi Hull contributed 14 points on efficient 5 for 10 shooting, including 3 for 4 from three-point range. Hull also grabbed 4 rebounds and dished out 2 assists, though she missed several close-range shots that could have inflated her scoring total.
Hey, clear out, guys. Clear out. Watch what step back, pull up, bang, right in Stewie's face, and Stewie couldn't help but laugh. Couldn't help but laugh. Caitlin Clark letting her have it. And folks, look at Sandy Brondello. Sandy Brondello can't even hate. Sandy, you can hate. You need to appreciate. Folks.
Aaliyah Boston struggled initially with double-team coverage but adjusted well in the second half. She finished with a respectable performance while learning to handle increased defensive attention more effectively. Sophie Cunningham led the bench with exceptional efficiency, posting a remarkable plus 31 rating. The veteran forward's energy and production provided crucial minutes for the starters. Sydney Colson contributed 6 assists along with timely three-point shooting, including an important shot in the fourth quarter. Her court vision and decision-making helped maintain offensive flow when Clark rested.
19 fast break points. Oh, that feels good too. 19 fast break points. Oh, that feels good too. Bench 20 points. Every quarter scoring more than 20 points. 102 points. Folks, this is what we want. This is what we wanted from the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark said, toss the game plan out the window. Let me just play ball.
Damaris Dantas added a three-pointer to the bench scoring effort, while the coaching staff utilized an 8-player rotation that seemed to maximize each contributor's strengths. The game's turning point came in the third quarter when the Fever embarked on a 19-0 run that effectively decided the outcome. What began as a competitive contest transformed into a showcase of Indiana's offensive capabilities when clicking on all cylinders.
Toss the game plan out the window. Let me just play ball. And I would be lying if I said the Fever 4, Kelsey, Caitlin, Lexi, AB, plus Sophie Cunningham. Folks, that might be a winning recipe for this Indiana Fever team. That might be a winning recipe for this Indiana Fever team. They came out in the third quarter on a 19-0 run. The New York Liberty start the third, playing pretty well. We got a...
The run eventually extended to approximately 25-3 over a longer stretch, demonstrating the Fever's ability to overwhelm opponents when their key players find rhythm simultaneously. Clark did accumulate 7 turnovers during the contest, though this comes with the territory of a primary ball handler attempting difficult passes and creating opportunities for teammates. The aggressive playmaking style that generates assists also produces occasional miscues.
Sophie, get in there. Natasha, sit down. 19-0 run. I think it ended up being something like a 25-3 run when all was said and done. Loved what I saw from the Indiana Fever today. I know Jonquel Jones wasn't playing, but the style of play, the pace of play, the type of basketball, the brand of basketball is what we saw. We didn't see too many screens go away, screen go away, screen go away. No.
The team missed several easy scoring opportunities, particularly layups that could have inflated the final margin. Converting these high-percentage attempts will be crucial for continued success against elite competition. New York's Brianna Stewart reached the free throw line 14 times, indicating some defensive lapses that allowed easy scoring opportunities. However, the Fever's overall defensive energy improved compared to recent performances.
Caitlin was ball handling. When she gave up with it, we made an attempt to get it back to her. When she gave it up, we gave it to Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey, cook up. Kelsey, rough first 3 quarters, but take us home, Kelsey. Money Mitch. Put him in a ditch. Feels good, folks. It feels good. Lexi Hull, 5 for 10, shooting 50%, 3 for 4 from the three-point line, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists.
Sabrina Ionesco played well for the Liberty, showcasing the type of individual brilliance that makes New York dangerous despite missing key personnel. Natasha Cloud struggled offensively, shooting 1 for 8 overall and 0 for 4 from three-point range. Clark received her first technical foul of the season, displaying the competitive intensity that drives her exceptional performances. The emotional investment in winning showed through her interactions with officials and opponents throughout the game. This represents significant improvement in emotional control compared to previous seasons, where technical fouls came more frequently. The maturity in handling pressure situations while maintaining competitive edge bodes well for continued development.
So, lads, today we have to talk about what Caitlin Clark just did to the New York Liberty, especially in the first half. Like, the second half, Caitlin Clark got tired, and still, like, Stewie took on the assignment. And I do feel, I don't even know if Stewie did that great a job on Caitlin, but I do feel like that Stewie...
Head coach Stephanie White made generally sound decisions throughout the contest, though some substitution patterns coincided with opponent scoring runs. The overall game plan allowed players to showcase their natural abilities rather than forcing complex schemes. The pace of play and style suited the Fever's personnel, emphasizing transition opportunities and three-point shooting rather than half-court grinding. This approach maximized Clark's impact while giving teammates chances to contribute. The performance demonstrated what the Fever can accomplish when their primary weapons function at optimal levels. The combination of Clark's playmaking, Mitchell's scoring, and improved bench production creates a formula for success against quality opponents. The victory over New York, even without Jonquel Jones, represents the highest quality win of the season for Indiana. Previous victories came against weaker competition, making this result particularly significant for confidence and momentum.
I've been very impressed with how Kennedy Burke has been playing, in fairness, on defense. But it was, like, Caitlin Clark was just different. So, Caitlin Clark, by the way, goes and does this. Like, it's scary. As you can see there, Caitlin Clark and Stewie getting into it. Like, Brianna Stewart, this is how much, I'm going to title this video, and I mean this, I think I'm accurate with this, was just in awe of what Caitlin Clark did.
The game featured ideal shot distribution, with Clark attempting 20 field goals and Mitchell taking 16 shots. This allocation maximizes the team's most efficient scorers while keeping other contributors involved appropriately. Future success likely depends on maintaining similar shot distribution patterns, allowing the primary creators to operate freely while supporting players fill complementary roles. The next test comes against the Connecticut Sun, a team known for physical defense and disciplined execution. The question becomes whether Indiana can maintain this aggressive, free-flowing style against different defensive approaches. The performance against New York suggests the Fever have found an identity that suits their personnel. Continuing this development while addressing minor weaknesses could establish them as legitimate contenders in the competitive landscape.
We're going to scroll all the way down to the first half. The first quarter and a half. Halo 25 in the first half. But, like, Caitlin Clark, this is, by the way, at this stage when this happens, Caitlin starts off the game by getting him their first basket with an assist. It's 6-4. She then throws a ridiculous pass to Boston for that. And in the meantime, Caitlin Clark hit a floater. Then Caitlin Clark, it's 19-10. They're not doing great. At this stage, Caitlin had been subbed off.
Clark's performance adds another highlight to what's becoming a remarkable professional debut season. The combination of individual excellence and team success creates momentum for sustained improvement throughout the campaign. The supporting cast showed growth in their understanding of how to play alongside a generational talent. As chemistry continues developing, the ceiling for this Indiana team appears to be rising steadily. The victory demonstrates that when the Fever play to their strengths, pace, three-point shooting, and Clark's unique abilities, they can compete with anyone in the league. Maintaining this approach while adding defensive consistency could make them a dangerous playoff opponent.
Subs back on, and they went on a bit of a lull. They couldn't score without her. And Caitlin Clark goes and gets an and one. Like, Sophie Cunningham gets a shot. It's 19-15. Caitlin Clark goes and hits from the logo. And if you see here, like, Caitlin Clark hits from like 30. Then Maureen Johannes comes down and hits another 3. I ride off that. Maureen Johannes hit a 3. Caitlin Clark comes down from deep, hits the 3. Like, it is...
The recent matchup between the Indiana Fever and New York Liberty showcased an extraordinary display of basketball prowess, particularly during the opening 24 minutes of play. Clark's performance in the initial half left spectators and opponents alike struggling to comprehend what they witnessed. The game began with Clark orchestrating the offense through precise ball movement, recording the team's opening score via an assist. With the score at 6-4, she delivered a spectacular pass to teammate Boston, demonstrating her court vision early in the contest. Clark continued her impressive start by connecting on a mid-range floater, but the real fireworks began when the Liberty had established a 19-10 advantage. After being substituted back into the game during a scoring drought for her team, Clark immediately impacted the momentum. Following a Sophie Cunningham field goal that brought the score to 19-15, Clark responded with a deep three-pointer from well beyond the arc. The sequence that followed epitomized her range and confidence. Marine Johannes answered with her own three-pointer, only to watch Clark immediately respond with another long-distance bomb. The most remarkable moment occurred when Clark received a screen and calmly pulled up from approximately 30 feet, draining consecutive shots from logo range. This sequence left Breanna Stewart, one of the league's premier defenders, visibly amazed by the audacity and accuracy of the shot. Stewart, who was assigned to guard Clark throughout much of the contest, found herself in the unusual position of being thoroughly outplayed. The Liberty star, known for her defensive capabilities, appeared genuinely stunned as Clark continued to extend her range beyond conventional basketball wisdom. Clark's fourth logo three-pointer of the half particularly stood out as she stepped back against Stewart's tight coverage and still managed to connect from an almost unreasonable distance. The shot was so deep that Stewart, despite positioning herself 2 steps outside the three-point line, remained nowhere near the release point. The interaction between the two players became noteworthy as Stewart began laughing at the absurdity of Clark's shot-making ability. Even as the primary defender, Stewart seemed to acknowledge that conventional defensive principles were insufficient against such extraordinary range and accuracy. Throughout this stretch, Clark maintained her characteristic confidence, engaging in brief exchanges with opponents while continuing to knock down difficult shots. Her demeanor suggested someone who thrived under pressure and enjoyed showcasing her skills on the biggest stage. ESPN and other major sports outlets quickly highlighted the performance, with social media buzzing about the unprecedented shot-making display. The coverage emphasized how Clark's range forced defenders into impossible positions, creating opportunities that defied traditional basketball strategy. Clark's defensive effort also drew praise during this contest, with observers noting improvement in her positioning and effort on that end of the floor. While defense remains a developing aspect of her game, her commitment to two-way play was evident throughout the first half. The second half saw Clark's energy levels decrease somewhat, allowing Stewart and the Liberty to mount more effective defensive pressure. Stewart, clearly motivated by the first half performance, elevated her own defensive intensity and began to limit Clark's scoring opportunities. Caitlin's teammates, including Sophie Cunningham, were often left as mere spectators to the long-range barrage. At one point, Cunningham was observed sitting on the court, appearing stunned after witnessing another logo three-pointer find its target. The performance generated significant discussion across basketball media platforms, with analysts comparing it to some of the greatest individual shooting displays in recent memory. LeBron James and other NBA stars took notice, sharing their appreciation for the skill level on display. Stewart's reaction throughout the game provided insight into how elite players respond when confronted with transcendent individual performances. Rather than becoming frustrated, she appeared to appreciate the artistry of Clark's shot-making, even while competing at the highest level. The contrast between Stewart's previous comments about Clark's overall game and her visible admiration during this performance highlighted how quickly perceptions can change in professional sports. The defensive specialist found herself acknowledging abilities that seemed to defy basketball convention. Basketball analysts noted that Clark's confidence and range created unprecedented challenges for opposing defenses. Her willingness to attempt shots from distances that most players consider out of bounds forced defensive schemes to extend far beyond traditional parameters.